We apologize for the break in transmission, which is due to a little technical hitch that has been fixed already. And on the news, the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has called on the Nigerian Police Force and the Department of State Services to intensify the investigation of suspected headers of the Joint Admission and Monitoring Board's website. JAMB experienced glitches in its website in the last Unified Tertiary Matriculation Board examination, which affected the result of more than 370,000 students, mostly from the southeast. The police and the DSS announced the arrest of 20 suspects over hacking of the 2025 computer-based test of the UTME examination. The suspects were said to have compromised for a fee the JAMB website, resulting in the coerce experienced by the examination body and the subsequent trauma for parents and students. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund says over 550,000 loan applicants were received in 1 year. The fund made this known in a statement to mark 1 year since its launch on May 24, 2024. The implementation of the student loan scheme is by President Bola Tinubu's project in the education sector, barely a month after his inauguration as president. Tinubu signed the Access to Higher Education Act, which creates a legal framework for granting loans to indigents or low-income Nigerians to facilitate the payment of their fees in Nigeria tertiary institutions. Academic Staff Union of Universities have hinted on embarking on an industrial action to press and its demand to go on strike over the unreceived and resolved 2009 agreement. The new president of ASU, Professor Chris Piwuna, stated this at a press conference in Abuja. This is even as the union, in its assessment of the President Bola Tinubu 2-year administration, lamented institutional weaknesses, bureaucratic inefficiency, and academic corruption that has undermined governance at all levels. Before any meaningful conversation begins in Igbo land, one sacred item must be presented: the kola nut, known as Oji Igbo. It symbolizes peace, respect, and hospitality, and carries deep cultural and spiritual meaning. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, visited our community in Owerri West, where elders perform the traditional kola nut ritual and share insight into its significance. Here is her report.
In Igbo land, kola is very, very important to our what? Visitors. This is what we use in order to receive our visitors with a good word, mind, to show that we are happy.
At the heart of every Igbo gathering lies a sacred ritual, the presentation and breaking of kola nut, known as Iwoji. This tradition unites families, honors visitors, and invites blessings. In our autonomous community, the ritual remains strong. Here, community elders gathered at the home of Okenze Nathan Nnadi to perform the ancient rites of Iwoji, the breaking of kola nut. The ritual is deeply symbolic. The kola nut is never cut with a knife, but broken by hand, and by only an elder or a titled man. Once blessed, it is shared according to age and status. In most cases, a younger man distributes the pieces to those present. The sharing of kola nut follows age and rank, a teaching tool for respect and community structure. Women do not perform the breaking in line with the long-standing customs.
Yes, according to our tradition in our, yes. Oji, that is kola, the native kola, precisely, have significant understandings. Like the one that I'm holding here is about 5 pieces. When you break it, it signifies numerous delivering of children.
They differentiate the kola nut within the Igbo kola nut and that of the Oji Goro. We call it Goro by name. Now, Oji Igbo, normally we use hand in breaking it. We don't use any object in breaking it because it has its own separation. When you separate it, it identifies itself, the male side of it and the female side of the kola nut.
There are concerns that the younger generation may forget its meaning. Elder Wadiegwu Amadi has this to say.
Come from the elders, because we now as elders, we were youths before and we are now elders. We learned from our elders. That is why we have something to tell them. They should learn, otherwise they will grow without our tradition.
From ancient time till today, Oji Igbo remains a living tradition, a symbol of identity and togetherness among the Igbo nation. As they say, the kola nut does not understand any other language apart from Igbo language. From our autonomous community, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, EU calls for respect after Trump threatened 50% tariff. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. And now we will bring you stories from the world of business, where the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has officially announced the shutdown of Port Harcourt Refining Company. In a statement, the NNPC confirmed that the facility will be shut down for a month for maintenance activities. According to the NNPC Chief Corporate Communication Officer, Olufemi Soneye, the shutdown will commence on Saturday, May 24, which is today. Soneye added that the company is working with relevant stakeholders to ensure efficiency and transparency during the exercise. An official of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Lovett Ononuga, says the 85% of the proceeds of the value-added tax, that is VAT, got to the 36 states government of the Federation. Onanuga, who is the FIRS Director, Taxpayer Service Department, further stated that the federal government retains just 15% of the funds. Onanuga, who spoke at a one-day strategic tax communication session organized by the service in Abuja, therefore taxed Nigerians with active participation in governance by holding their leaders, especially state governors, accountable for their financial expenditure. In a major boost to commercialize agriculture in Nigeria, the Dangote Group and the Niger State government are fostering a partnership worth billions of naira. The conglomerate said significant investment has been deployed into the company's rice production infrastructure in the state, even as it is partnering the government on the Niger Food Initiative. A senior special advisor to the president and chief executive of Dangote Group, Fatima Wali Abdurrahman, said the company's state-of-the-art rice mill in Wunshishi is progressing steadily and on track for completion. The Nigerian Shippers Council, that is NLC, has expressed optimism that the National Assembly would forward the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency bill to the presidency for assent in the next few weeks. Speaking at the 2025 annual retreat of the Public Relations Unit of the Council in Lagos, the Executive Secretary, NSC, Pius Akuta, stated that the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency Bill has been passed by both chambers of the National Assembly, and the process of working on the bill to put it in proper perspective can be sent to the presidency for assent was just concluded recently. He added that the National Assembly will forward that to the president for assent in few weeks to come. Users of X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, are grappling with a widespread outage, leaving both the website and app inaccessible. The Elon Musk-owned social network began experiencing issues around 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, May 25, according to the Downdetector.co.uk. User complaints surged from just 66 to over 11,000 within minutes, peaking at 1:39 p.m. The marked second major destruction in matters of days on Thursday evening, May 22nd, millions were affected by another outage that disrupted key features, including direct message, login pages, and access to various parts of the platform across both mobile and desktop. The European Union's trade chief said the 27-member bloc is committed to securing a trade deal with the United States based on respect, not threat. It comes after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to slap a 50% tariff on all goods sent to the United States from the EU. Earlier, Trump expressed impatience with the pace of the ongoing EU-US trade negotiation, saying his plan to raise tariff on 1 June was set. And on the foreign scene, at least 8 people were wounded in a drone and missile attack on Kyiv city, just as Russia and Ukraine were in the middle of a major prisoner swap. The head of Kyiv's civil military administration, Timur Tanchenko, reported fires and falling debris in several parts of the Ukrainian capital after explosions were heard overnight. At least 8 people were wounded in the attack, 2 of whom were hospitalized, according to the city's mayor, Vitaly Klitschko. The city authorities says at least 14 people have been injured in a major Russian missile and drone attack on Kyiv. Russia launched 250 drones and 14 ballistic missiles against Kyiv. Ukraine's at force said causing fire in residential buildings. It was one of the biggest combined area assaults on the city since the war began. The Air Force said it had downed 6 missiles and 245 drones. The barrage came as Russia and Ukraine are taking part in prisoner swap agreed after talks between the 2 countries official in Turkey. The number of cases mpox registered in Sierra Leone since the beginning of the year has hit 3,011 with 14 dead of the disease, according to new government data. All of the regions in the West African country have now registered cases, according to the latest Health Ministry figures released last Friday. The new figures mark a nearly 50% rise in registered cases since the previous update 10 days ago on May 13, and 2,045 cases and 11 fatalities were registered since the start of the year. And now in sports, Nigeria's highest-ranked women's player Rafiat Abdulaziz and her Kwara teammate Blessing Isaac completed a 1-2 finish in the women's single of the squash event at the 2024 National Sport Festival in Ogun State. Abdulaziz outclassed Isaac in the Kwara final, defeating her 11-6 in the first set and 11-7 in the second set before the latter crashed out in the third set to eventually hand the former the ultimate prize. A CAF Confederation Cup final venue dispute has overshadowed the second leg between Simba of Tanzania and Resonance Berkane of Morocco in the Indian Oceanic island of Zanzibar. Host Simba, who tried 2-0 after the first leg last weekend, wanted to stage the return match at the 60,000-seat Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam. But an inspection of the national stadium in the Tanzania commercial capital by the Confederation of African Football ruled that it was unsuitable for the title decider. Instead, CAF ordered the second leg to be played at the Aman Stadium, a 15,000-seater in Zanzibar, which is a 3-hour ferry journey from Dar es Salaam. And as it on Global TV News Cycle, a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app on Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.